Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk, or excuse me, on Facebook Live. On hang on a second, time out. If I don't do this every week, then I forget how to do everything, right? So let me see. Time out. Is this on? I don't know. Oh, it's a photo. I don't want a photo, you dork. Let me see. Well, how are you supposed to do this anymore? Did they change it? Video. Okay, here, video. So what I'm attempting to do is why aren't they letting me do the video? Is this going to be on or not? Why aren't they letting me shoot video on this thing? What is it? What, IG? IGTV? I don't know. But there should be a way for me to go live, right? It's not letting me press and hold to record. It's not letting me record. I don't know what the problem is with this. You know, Instagram, people start to censor everything out of prejudice or whatever the problem is. It's kind of old, you know, the prejudice bullshit gets really old really quick. Processing last clip, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, no, that's on. Hey, do you guys know how to go live on Instagram? Anybody? Can you just show me how to do this? There's some kind of bullshit going on. That's what I think. That's what I think. But that's besides the point. I think Instagram is blocking me from going live. Why, I don't know, but I think it is. Let's see, let's try this one. No, I don't. Well, then flip it, you dork. I don't know what this thing's doing. Okay, now aren't I supposed to be able to go live on this thing? Ah, here we go. Finally, they changed everything around, and then I can't figure out what the hell is going on. All right, let me see. So we're live on Instagram now. Amazing. Like you have to take a whole fucking course on it just to figure it out, right? Um, and then on Facebook, I don't know, for any of you people that are coming, trying to come on and tag along with this video. I apologize because I don't know if Facebook's letting you or not. All I know is that I haven't been able to. Here, let's go like this. Stuff. Haha. Well, at least I can put a comment on there, so that helps, right? So anyhow, there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to go over today, and I don't even know if I'm going to have time to critique movies today because there's quite a bit of stuff. So I'm just going with it, going with the flow, right? First of all, I want to take some time out to celebrate, John Lewis, who recently passed away, civil rights activist and leader. A lot of people I think, were probably not happy about that because I think they appreciated him and his services. Now, it's funny because I was just talking to a neighbor about this a few weeks ago, and it just seems like whenever somebody passes that's connected with me, I think maybe is a good phrase, where for some reason we're connected somehow or another from another life or whatever. Some kind of weird pattern of weather happens in the area, and not just this area, but wherever that person's connected to as well. And maybe they're just connected to the area at Flagstaff. Maybe they're connected to me, or maybe a number of people here in this area. And so some kind of weird weather pattern happens. It's really hot that day, really cold, really windy. I've seen it where it snowed before when somebody has passed away and they had their funeral on that same day. They apparently had a series of funerals for John Lewis, the civil rights activist, and I think like a whole week's worth of funerals all throughout the area. And I think the last one was in Chicago. I don't remember, but anyhow, it rained, it poured here on one of those days that he had his funeral, and it was interesting. It was nice because we had plenty. That rain sure was. People were really enjoying and appreciating that rain. But so right now, I think I just want to take a moment of silence and celebrate him graduating from this lifetime and moving on and moving forward. We're always moving forward if you let yourself, regardless of circumstance. But that's besides the point. So anyhow, just a moment of silence for to acknowledge and celebrate John Lewis, and then we'll come back. I have a whole mouthful of stuff I want to tell you about. So anyhow, we're back, and again, there's a lot happening this month, this week, this year, this lifetime. I don't know. It just is what it is, right? Here, let's move this. I don't know. So aloha, Andrea. Hess, thanks for stopping by. I'm just doing my monthly, weekly, yearly, I don't know, whatever updates. So and right now we just took a moment of silence for John Lewis, and the next thing I want to talk about, I don't know, there's so much stuff. I just want to take it in stride. First of all, I want to talk about the HEROES Act, the the stimulus package that was voted on a few weeks ago, and Congress actually passed it. But of course, the senators, Republican senators, haven't passed it. And at one point, President Trump was actually prepared to pass it, and I think he's changed his mind because it's all been watered down and changed, and I don't know all the stuff that's going on, but these people don't give a crap about anybody else but themselves. They're just hung up with their own shit, and they're making plenty of money. They don't give a shit. So all these people that are having a hard time, they've been working their asses off for weeks, for months, for years. They've been working their asses off so that people can have whatever, food on their table. They can have furniture. They can have cars to drive. All kinds of stuff that the American people have been doing so other people can have, right? Especially all these rich people that don't give a shit about what happens to them. So, that's not cool, and not cool at all. And so they've been working their asses off. Now they've had to take time out, and it's like a vacation for them in a way, but they're not getting paid. Well, they got paid initially $1,200, but now, they're slow leaking it over at the White House with this next stimulus package, and I am sure that karma will definitely catch up to them sooner or later. They're not gonna like it because they're being assholes, and so what goes around comes around. That's the way it goes, right? And that doesn't matter who you are on this planet, how big and badass you think you are. Your karma is coming back to you one way or another, sooner or later. And that's all it's to it. So anyhow, I believe that it would be a good idea to pass that HEROES Act immediately, because there's a lot of people that are having a hard time with finances, and a lot of people are getting ready to get evicted within the next week or so. So, and that's going to lead to more chaos, more riots, more problems. Is that what the leadership on this planet really wants? And that's what we're having a hard time with in the United States, and probably the whole planet too. But right now I'm speaking about the United States. The leadership in this country is for shit. They're not being professional. They're stealing. They're robbing. They're grabbing ass, all kinds of stuff. Not cool at all. So can the leadership in this country be professional? That's a really good question. Has it been professional? No, it has not been. For the last several years, it has not been. And it really needs to get with the program. And it's not hard. Now, I granted that being a role model is the hardest way to lead, but it's also the best and the most permanent way to lead. Now, the rest is easy. And if you go to my website, I have practices there. I have boundaries there that you can follow as a leader. And really simple. No blaming, no complaining, no threats, no lies, no name calling. That's the very basic foundation for that. Very basic. It's not hard. Really, it isn't. And then being in right action, right conduct, right relationship with yourself and with everyone around you. How more difficult can it be, right? Being transparent, being brutally transparent, so that everybody around you knows who you are. When they see you coming, it's like a label. It's like a commercial for a company. When you go to McDonald's, you're going to get a certain product, a certain service, for the most part, all across the board. When you go buy jeans, you put those jeans on, and again, those jeans are going to last for a period of time, and they're going to be feel comfortable for a period of time, right? So when you, that's what you people as leaders out there need to do. You need to be just like jeans, Levi jeans. And I'm not even getting paid to do a plug for them, right? You need to be just like jeans, Levi jeans. People should be, your every action, word, and deed should be consistent from the time you get up till the time you go to bed. Wait, how does that go? Spend the day with love. Wake up with love, and go to sleep with love. If you can do that, I guarantee you're going to be a badass leader. Period. Just that simple. Really, it is. So now, again, if you go to my website, I already have the practices that will take you to help maintain you focused and centered throughout the day. And then I have the boundaries right there, so that you know, do I cross this line or not? You know, most of the time you don't. You know, even though you want to say, oh yeah, I'm right, and that's the problem that people are having in the White House. You know, everybody wants to be fucking right instead of and be proud. And they all want to live in the past and be proud about this and that. You don't need to live in the past. The past are for ghosts, because ghosts, that's where they live at. They live in the past, and they have a hard time remember who they were. So finally, when somebody helps them get back into the spirit world, they're no longer ghosts, and they become spirit again. It's just like that. So you don't need to be a ghost anymore. You can be proud all you want, but you know what? Is proud and being right more important than getting along and working together? Which is more important? You think about it. Oh, I have a hard time figuring that one out. Duh. Whatever. Right? So, again, you leaders out there, you know who you are. If you want to be a true legend, then you need to lead the right way. Get your head out of your ass and lead the right way, period. No questions asked. Just do it. Being right is not as important as getting along. It's just that simple. So pass the Heroes Act, get your act together, get your shit straight, and quit making people suffer from bullshit. You're bullshit. Period. It's just like that. And I'm talking to all of you, not just one of you. So anyhow, with that in mind, TikTok. I don't know what's going on with that. You know, can Donald Trump completely wipe out TikTok and delete it with no proof of treason, no proof of any wrongdoing, no proof of any illegal activity going on? Really? You're just gonna take him out just because you want to? Again, we're back to that leadership bullshit again. Really? You're gonna do that? Do you have evidence of any treason going on? Any? That's what I want to know. With that in mind, Vanessa Pappas, general manager of TikTok, the United States general manager, has come out and said that they just acquired, I believe, $1 billion to work with TikTok and get it going. And even the Japanese company, I can't remember what the name of that company is, but I want to say Dancing Bear, but it's not Dancing Bear, whatever. Anyhow, they've even stepped down, and I believe they're getting ready to let Microsoft purchase the company. Don't quote me on that exactly, but it's something like that. And so they're stepping down, and they're letting it go to some U.S. company, and so that it can be continue to function. So again, Donald Trump, are these people committing treason? If they are, you need to put it out there and clarify yourself and make this clear. If not, you need to shut the fuck up and let them be, period. It's just that simple. Period. Now, with that in mind, I've been working with Instagram quite a bit, and I've been trying to figure out a way to acknowledge some of the people that have been reaching out to me and just connecting with me, and just being themselves for the most part. There are some people that ask, if the best way to go out and connect with me or anybody else is unconditionally. Just say hi, thank you, you got a great profile. I mean, I get a lot of comments of all this stuff, and some people they just want something for in return for them stopping by. Really? Come on now. What's up with that program? If you're going to stop by and say hi, just say hi. I don't need to be sold on you and anything else. If I did, I would ask questions. But if you're in my network, if I'm already connected with you, if I've already friended you or whatever, then why do you want more? What do you want? Being unconditionally giving you unconditional love is not enough. If it's not enough, then go somewhere else. And I'm not even going to repeat that. It's just like that. It doesn't hurt my feelings one bit if you go somewhere else, not even for a second. I maintain to promote and put out unconditional love to all of you, not just to one person or another. It doesn't matter what race or creed or sexual preference you are. I don't really care. That's your business. That's between you and you. So if you want more from me, then you're barking at the wrong tree. You're pounding on the wrong door, because that's not me. If unconditional love is not enough for you, don't be afraid to move on and don't let the door hit you in the ass. It's just like that. In the meantime, Tom Broder, brand builder, thank you for stopping by. And again, I'm trying to figure out a way to acknowledge all of you and give you some kind of form of appreciation. And right now, this is the only thing that I know of, other than having already responded to you on Instagram. Puya Sasan Mayer, graphic designer, thank you for stopping by. Dakota DeHote, Jesus lover. Thomas Andrews, TV host and singer. Friday Santana, rapper. HC Salon, hair salon out of Italy, I believe. Christina Dechev, Miss Illinois Earth 2020. Katarine out of Costa Mesa, and West Hollywood permanent makeup specialist. Thank you for stopping by. Iselin, USC law alum out of Norway, based in Los Angeles. Noah Arton, musician, a drummer specialist, a percussion specialist, I believe. Rodney Navoy Jr., philanthropist, wellness coach, nutritionist, recording artist. Henny Howell, rapper. Kevin Schlahuber. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Schlahuber. He's a cancer survivor and also a mental health educator. Good job, Kevin, for not giving up on yourself, and which means not giving up on anybody else around you either. So I think people are probably pretty proud of you. Alina Kravitz, She's a private. She's a very private person. I don't know if she had a private account. Rishika Kashwal, singer and model, and then Priyanka Neji, singer and performer, and then Proy New, another private person, private account person. Thank all of you for stopping by. Love and blessings to you always, in all ways, and blessings to your families as well. Namaste. And now the next thing I want to talk about is saints, including Amachi, the hugging saint. She's been doing a live darshan or program, if you want to put it that way, on Saturday mornings at 4:30 a.m. California time. So if you want to catch her, what's her? I can't remember. Amma. Just look up Amma Live. Look it up on YouTube, and you'll probably find it. Another a saint that has also been doing live programs every day. I believe at 5 o'clock California time, and I don't know how long she's going to be doing this, but she's been doing this for a few days, at least a good week now, at least. But she does like some kind of meditation program or something. And I've actually visited with her, and I visited with Amachi, the hugging saint. In fact, I did the whole tour across the country with her one year back in 2003. I've also met in person with Maitreya Buddha, with Ma, another saint called Ma in Sedona. Karuna Mai, Sri Karuna Mai, who's another saint that does the circuit, has been doing the circuit up until this year. Another guy in Sedona, I don't remember what this guy's name was, but I don't know that he was actually a saint, but his energy just seemed to be pretty plugged in. And a lot of people don't know if Benjamin Creme, or know that Benjamin Creme was a saint, but I'm almost 100% sure he was and is a saint. He actually came to me after he passed on. He came to me and visited with me, and does the weekly meditations, probably all the transmission meditations I do, the full moon ones and the weekly ones, and then the special ones. He joins, it's not my group, but I facilitate it. On Wednesday nights, he actually joins that group and meditates with us as well, as far as I understand and know of. So and with this in mind, I didn't even realize this until recently, that I have actually met 8 saints all together, in person, live and in person. And none of them were Jesus. Although I have met with Jesus in the etherics, he's come to me in spirit form a number of times, a few times, and I've connected with him on that level, but not in the physical body or in the physical. All these other saints I've met in person. Again, Amachi, the hugging saint, Mother Meera, Benjamin Creme, the guy from Sedona. Oh shoot, and my battery's about to die on my phone because I forgot to plug it in. So we're just going to go like this. Okay, see if that works. So anyhow, let me see, Ma, and then who else did I meet with? There's at least 3 others that I met with live and in person. And of course, Sai Baba, and then there was 2 others. Is it 2 others? Yeah, 2 others that I met. I can't remember who they are, but anyhow, I can't. I'm shocked myself that I've met that many saints in my lifetime over the years, and not that that's good or bad or indifferent or makes me a better person. It's just that one of the things that you learn while you're in the body in person is you learn how to relate to beings that are high, high level beings, and you learn how to, and by learning how to uh, approach them and behave in a manner that's respectable with them, you also learn how to connect with God, Goddess, the same way. Because when you connect with God, Goddess, the sum total of all the energies in all the universes, then you have to behave and be of certain mindset in order to connect with them, because otherwise you'll probably just be fried to a crisp. You'll be kicked out of the throne. Who knows all the different things that can happen if you're a real asshole and try to approach any of these beings, right? It's just like that. So if you think you're going to be a real asshole and approach these people and really get along with them, ha 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 ha, try again, right? It's just going to be just like that. So and with that in mind, years ago I was doing a meditation near Amachi, the Hugging Saints ashram in San Ramon, California. And all of a sudden, in the middle of my meditation, she grabbed my hand, I believe, and we took off in the etherics on an astral projection, if you want to call it that. And we just took off. You could see these stars going just really fast, right? And she took me to a place where there was nothing there, nothingness. And if you've heard about the word in the truest, authentic meaning of the word, that's what it was. There was nothing there, nothing, no light. It was just dark, but it was kind of weird because it didn't seem like it was dark. There's nothing had ever inhabited or impregnated that space before. Nothing. It was a place where there was nothing but complete darkness, and there was no consciousness there at all until we arrived. We had and may still be the only consciousness that has ever impregnated that space. Who knows how long? For eons, for infinity and beyond, right? So anyhow, further down the road, it was determined that I would be part of a Mahatma. A Mahatma is millions of people, assumably millions of people, or at least thousands, but probably millions of people in this case, coming together to form one body, one voice, one spirit, oneness, in upholding and being a sun called the Golden Sun. I believe it's called the Golden Sun. So somewhere down the road, millions of years from now, myself and I, with all these other beings, millions of beings, probably billions, are going to come together, and we're going to uphold, and we're going to be a sun, radiating light and love to all those beings out there that will need it, right? All those planets, who knows who's going to be in that solar system, assumably a solar system. And who knows how long we'll be doing that for. So eventually, the Christians go, oh, we'll have everlasting life. Whoa, did you ever figure out how you're going to be living that everlasting life? Duh. Yeah, you're going to be like a lot of these beings here. The being that upholds planet Earth. The being that upholds the sun here, Helios. The being that upholds this solar system. I believe Buddha, maybe Maitreya Buddha, I'm not sure. The being that upholds this galaxy. Saint Germain. I want to say Saint Germain, but it's not Saint Germain. He's along the lineage of Saint Germain. But anyhow, there's a being that upholds our galaxy. So and this being is just like your body right now. There's all these cells, and all these cells are probably little beings that have come together to uphold you. So shouldn't you be thankful for that? Shouldn't you appreciate that? Shouldn't you be grateful that these beings have come together to help form this body that you are now? You should be very thankful. on a huge level, not just minor. So it's like that. So anyhow, I put out a thing about meeting all these 8 saints, and I can't remember all 8 of them, but anyhow, maybe that was the 7th one, but and then Benjamin Crane, I think that was the 8th. But anyhow, I'm astonished, and I put out a survey thing asking how many people had actually met a saint, one saint. Several people, I think, 80-90% of the people that answered that question had never met even one saint in person. So, and maybe there's a reason for that, right? Maybe there's a reason for that. If you don't have the mindset, if you don't want to meet this saint, action follows thought. Thought follows action, right? So it goes like that. If you don't want to, then you probably won't. It doesn't hurt my feelings, and that's your business, not mine. But if you really want to meet a saint, number one, I would recommend starting. I would recommend immediately working with being in right action, right conduct, right relationship with those around you and with yourself. I would recommend no blaming, no complaining, no threats, no lies, no name calling. The very basic foundation for right healthy relationships. And then I would recommend the practices, the 5 practices that will help you focus and get centered, so you can do that. So you can meet not only a saint in the physical body, but meet your higher self, your soul, your higher aspect. Reading spiritual inspirational works, listening to inspirational spiritual music, prayer, meditation, and service. Those 5 practices on a regular daily basis, you can't go wrong. It'll be just a matter of time. If not this lifetime, next lifetime. If not next lifetime, the next lifetime after that. Either way, if you give up on you, then that's the way it's going to be. You're going to give up on you. Everybody else is still going to be doing what everybody else is going to be doing, regardless, right? But if you give up on you, then that's you on you. Period. So anyhow, again, Amachi, the Hugging Saint, is doing live programs to help you get centered and focused. Sometimes just sitting around. Aloha, Allison. Thanks for stopping by. Sometimes you don't even have to drive. You just showing up to some of these programs with some of these saints is one of the best things you can do. Meditation. Amma does bhajans. She also does satsang. She does a talk about different things. She talked about pregnancy the last time, which was very interesting. And then Sita and Rama, and then Mother Meera, I believe she does some kind of scanning process at the get-go, and then she goes into meditation. So you can look up Mother Meera live, and you'll find her program. I believe every day at 5 o'clock she's doing something, and then Amachi, the Hugging Saint. If you look up Amma Live, I believe Amma Live, you can on YouTube, and then Mother Meera Live on YouTube. You'll probably find them and look up their scheduling for your local time, and then plug in there, and then you'll be able to just sitting in and basking in their amazing divine energies. Sometimes that goes a whole long way. You don't even know it. Just doing that regularly, every day, every week, or whatever. So you'll see what happens. Now, another thing that's going on that I think needs to be addressed is let me see, hang on a second. Is Pearlfeet, and there's a number of other companies from the UK that Pearlfeet. I went through the process of helping my sister buy some shoes from them. I had already purchased some from them, and I really liked their shoes. And it really kind of sucks because I really liked their product, but if the shoes don't fit you, they're not going to give you a refund. And if something happens, they're not going to give you a refund. Not to mention, it takes about a month just to get your product, which is a bunch of bullshit. So anyhow, I would recommend finding a local United States companies to purchase from if you have to purchase anything online at all. Period. Pearlfeet were really pissed me off. My sister bought some sandals from them, and I asked them for a refund, and they wouldn't even, they haven't even responded. So they're a scam. That company is a scam. I would not recommend them at all. Period. Unless you know exactly what you want, and you know the exact shoe size that you want to use. So that you want to wear, and knowing that they're gonna give you the right size shoes. And then you have to be patient enough to wait a whole month just to get your shoes or whatever. So and not only that, but right now, if I remember right, the UK is stopping Americans from going into to England to visit at all, for any purpose. The only way I believe the only way you can go in there is that if you test negative for the COVID virus, or you have some kind of proof that you're not infected or something like that. I think, but I don't know. They may just be blocking everybody from the United States to go in and visit. So if they're pulling that shit, then even more reason not to purchase any of their products at all. Period. That's what I would suggest. So now I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't know how much time I got, but and I apologize to you people on Facebook, because I don't know, with this new format, Facebook isn't making it user friendly, so I know who you are. I don't know who's on here or not, so it's a bunch of bullshit, but that's besides the point. Now, on a number of occasions I've said it. People are just making movies just to make money. Well, and maybe I'll just leave it on here when I go and post my information for this video. There's an article that reads, Ben Stiller's world was shattered when Gene Hackman told the Poseidon Adventure was a money job. The Poseidon Adventure. How long ago was the Poseidon Adventure? Several years ago? And even back then, the only reason for that movie was to make money. And Gene Hackman confirms it in this article. 100% confirms it. So I've been saying this all along. A lot of people are just throwing shit out there, and I do mean shit, that worthless movies, and just to make money. Oh, they're and yeah, they might make some money, but if you're really a shitty artist, you're not gonna make any money. Period. You're full of yourself. That's what I say. So anyhow, I would I'll leave this article there so you can read it. Now now Netflix is filled with nothing but television series, and it's annoying because I don't want, unless a television series is really, really good, it's annoying as hell to watch a television series, especially on Netflix, which is worthless and piece of shit. And a lot of their movies, a lot of the Netflix movies are worthless pieces of shit too. But there are every once in a while, here and there, they'll come up with a really good movie or a really good television series. And one of them is the Umbrella Academy. I watched the first season, and that was like over a year ago, I think. And then finally they came out with the second season recently, and I've been watching that. I'm still not 100% that it's up to par as with the first season, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in it, and so I think I've only watched the third episode, and I don't know how many episodes. There's probably 8, so I'll finish watching that, and I'll get back to you on that. But anyhow, there's a lot of interesting movies. There's a lot of interesting stuff in that movie, and they brought in some new characters and all kinds of stuff. Now, with that in mind, I watched a number of movies in the last, 2 or 3 weeks, and these movies they're older movies. Bad Teacher. Let me see. Time out. Let me see. I'll tell you. Let me get. Oh, come on. Bad Teachers came out in 2011. Little Red Wagon came out in 2010. And The World's Fastest Indian came out 2005. And those are the only 3 movies that I've given 2 thumbs up for this particular batch of movies. Bad Teacher 2011 with Cameron Diaz, Lucy Punch, Jason Segel, Justin Timberlake, Phyllis Smith, John Michael Higgins. That's a comedy. It's really funny. Cameron Diaz, she wants to find at the beginning she gets hooked up with this guy. She's gonna get married, and he says, "No way, am I gonna marry you?" His mom is right there, little mama's kid, and he's like rich, and that's the only reason she's marrying him, right? So anyhow, she goes back to teaching, and then she's gonna find a teacher to marry so that she doesn't have to work anymore. Right? So anyhow, it's a whole barrel of laughs. She goes through all this stuff, including a car wash that the kids do, and so she goes out and does the car wash because they made $6,000 from it last year. So this year they make $7,000, and she takes a cut of that, a cut of whatever they made. So anyhow, she goes on to this other stuff, and it's just hilarious. There's all kinds of funny stuff in it. There's a couple of parts. Well, one of them, they had what's that game where you throw the ball at somebody and to tag them and if you hit them they get tagged out. Anyhow, she's playing that game, and then she's drinking inside the classroom and all this stuff. I don't think it promotes good, healthy relations, but there's some really funny stuff around that anyhow. So, and at the very end, she gets hooked up with who? The PE teacher, whatever. So anyhow, The Little Red Wagon. Now, that came out 2010. Chandler Canterbury, Anna Gunn, and DeVay Chase, about this kid. And I think I remember this. I actually do remember this. Some kid out in Florida. There's a hurricane, huge hurricane, and all of a sudden all these people need water. All these kids need shelter. So this kid, about 10 years old or whatever, says, "Hey mom, I'm gonna go collect water to give out to all these people so they can have water to drink." So him and his sister go out and collect water. She comes home from work, and the whole garage is full of all kinds of stuff, right? And meantime, him and his sister and the mom don't get along. They have a hard time. There's some kind of jealousy thing going on. And then they go on to collect funding, and so he goes on this really long walk from, I can't remember, eventually to the White House, I believe, and to collect a donation so that they can establish a shelter for kids, and so kids won't be homeless anymore. So anyhow, it was a very interesting movie. It was based on true events, and the thing is that I went back to research this kid, and I believe he went to college to become an engineer or something. I can't remember. So anyhow, I think somewhere down the road he dropped everything and went on to become an engineer. So it was kind of it kind of pissed me off because this kid is like in the moment. He's being a true saint, a saintly kind of kid. That's a typical the thing that a saint would do. And then he just goes and drops the ball, and at least that's what it seemed like to me, because I went and looked him up, and there's nothing. Everything was like obsolete or whatever. So I don't know. So I thought that was kind of a scam. It felt like it's not. It wasn't a scam at the time, I guess, because he did everything he said he was going to do, and then he just went on to do something else. So, 2005, The World's Fastest Indian with Anthony Hopkins, Bruce Greenwood, Diane Ladd, Paul Rodriguez, Christopher Lambert, Chris Williams. Very interesting movie. It's kind of slow at the beginning, but towards the after that it starts to pick up, and this Anthony Hopkins, who's the guy that represents this guy, goes on, and he's from New Zealand, and he wants to go and be tested on his motorcycle, because he has this motorcycle called the Indian, and so he wants to go there. And I believe the place is in Utah, and there's this nothing but barren ground there, and every year they have this speed test with all kinds of vehicles, motorcycles or whatever. And anyhow, so he goes, and he people donate money to him and give him all kinds of support, and he goes to America, right? He gets there, and I believe this took place back in the 60s. I can't remember, but anyhow, he goes back, and he goes to Utah. He finally gets there, and they go, well, you have to have you have to be registered in order to compete. Well, he said, well, how was I supposed to know? I live all the way in New Zealand. How am I going to know that? And finally they talk him into at least trying out. I believe that he just to they talk him into it, or his buddy talks him into letting the people from this competition just letting him ride. So there's all these things that are wrong with this motorcycle, and he goes, well, I don't care. I'm just gonna ride it the way that I am going anyhow. And so, there's all these gears, all these safety equipment, all this and that, and they're going, man, this guy's crazy. All right, we'll let him ride anyhow. But they go ahead and let him ride. So anyhow, he does, and man, he just blows him to the wind. They go, okay, you can be in the race after all, because the motorcycle really, I think, was it 120, 130? I don't remember how fast it went, but he just blew him out of the water. They were like going around 75, and all of a sudden he just goes, he just takes off, right, and leaves them in the dust, right? So he does. He goes on, and he sets a world record with his motorcycle. It's an Indian motorcycle. He all kinds of stuff, and I think he ended up being doing that contest for like 8 years after that or something like that. So, it was pretty cool, interesting. And if you like motorcycles and stuff like that, very interesting movie to watch. I would definitely recommend it. Now, the next few movies that I want to go over are 1.5 thumbs up. The Kissing Booth. Actually, this is the second one. They had the first one, which was pretty funny. This is for your teenagers. If you have some teenagers that want to check out the transition from high school to college, this is probably a good movie for them to watch. So anyhow, with Joey King, Joel Courtney, Jacob Elordi, Molly Ringwald, Taylor Zakar Perez, Massey Richardson Sellers, and then Megan Young. The first one, Joey King has the hots for, I think it's Joel Courtney. I don't remember anyhow for this guy, and she ends up they end up establishing this kissing booth, and then that's how she gets hooked up with this guy. Well, in the second part of the movie, he goes on, her boyfriend goes on to college, and she's a senior in high school. So anyhow, she's like freaking out. Well, she's trying not to freak out, but she's trying to give him a space. But I think inevitably she freaks out. So anyhow, she goes and visits him at Harvard College, and she finds an earring underneath his bed. Well, come to find out that one of his friends goes to his place and lays down on his bed and loses her earring while he's gone on some kind of journey, on trip or something like that. Whatever, what a line of shit. And anyhow, so she finds the earring and she gets all jealous, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, she starts rehearsing with this other guy. What's this guy's name? I know this other guy. I think he's a Spanish guy. But anyhow, she starts rehearsing with this guy doing this game dance routine type of thing. and so that she can win some money so she can go to college, right? Because her dad doesn't have all this money. So anyhow, they rehearse and they actually do win. Aloha Lucci, thanks for stopping by. So they rehearse and they do win. In the meantime, the boyfriend comes back, and they end up breaking up, and then somehow they get back together, and he explains everything that's going on, and then they get back together again. So whatever. There was some really cheesy stuff. It had potential of being a 2.0 movie, but there's just some cheesy stuff that I didn't just found full of shit. But anyhow, Spy Intervention. This was Drew Van Acker Poppy Delavine. I wonder if that's Cara's sister or something like that. Anyhow, Natasha Bissett and Blake Anderson. This guy, he's a spy. This is a funny movie. This guy, he's a spy, and he goes and he doesn't want to be a spy anymore, so he quits. And it's, when do you ever find a spy that can quit their job and not be a spy anymore, right? Whenever, whatever. So anyhow, he's not happy. He's doing the husband thing. He's a cardboard. He sells cardboard boxes, and finally his buddies at the CIA or whatever come in, and they track him down, and they take him out. They put some kind of a sleep thing. They shoot him with some kind of dart that has some kind of thing that makes him sleep, and so they put him in the they take him to the spy office, and they go, man, we're intervening, and that's what the spy intervention is all about. They're intervening, and they're telling him he needs to do one more mission to get out of his gloom and whatever. So he does one more thing, and then the wife finds out that he's messing around with this other foster wife that's supposed to be there to help him do this other job. So anyhow, all this stuff happens. He gets caught, and I don't know. It's just really some funny stuff in there. Let me see what else. IP Man 4. There's actually 3 other movies. This one is in 2019 with Donnie Yen, Wu Yu, Vanda McGrath. The Donnie Yen is like some kind of kung fu master, and I believe this was based on true events. So him and his son aren't getting along, and his son wants to be a kung fu artist, master too, but he doesn't want him to be that or something. I don't know what. So he goes, well, I'm going to go to America and find you a school to go to. We're going to send you to America. So he goes to America, and Bruce Lee invites him to go to America, I believe. So he goes and watches Bruce Lee fight, and then he meets the leader of the Chinese of Little China in San Francisco, right? So they formed a group and a union type of thing, and so that they can protect themselves. And so he goes in there, and he ends up having to do a spar with the leader to prove that he's Chinese and he can still do kung fu. So anyhow, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, but the end result was that the Marines have been using karate to teach their soldiers how to fight, and one of them is a Chinese, and he wants to use kung fu. So he tells his platoon master for that, and he brings his own little arm thing, and he goes, you can't use that unless you beat my top guy. If you beat him, then you can use it. So of course he gets his ass kicked, the Chinese guy, right? And then the master or the supervisor, the leader of the karate thing, he goes. They have some kind of Chinese festival, and he goes over there, and typical asshole. He goes in there and intrudes them and starts beating people up, right? So one of the master from China goes and kicks his ass and puts him in the hospital. And then, so now the platoon master comes out, and he starts kicking everybody's ass, right? So they have this, final battle, and the master from China kicks the Marine master's guy's ass, and then I think it said in 2001, I can't remember, somewhere in the early 2000s, I think, years, they started implementing kung fu into Marines fighting skills and talents. So that was kind of interesting. MILF. Now, if you're in college or you're an older guy, you might actually appreciate this. I don't know, but came out in 2018. Virginie Ledoyen, Marie Josie Crows, Axel Lafont, Whale Sob, Mathias Don Diaz, and Victor Mitolet. These are all French names because I think this is a French movie. And that was the biggest thing that was a factor that made it a 1.5 thumb up movie, is that they voiced over all the movie, which was in French, initially in French, and then they added English voiceovers, and it made it kind of weird, but there was some really funny stuff in there, and interesting stuff, and these college guys having an affair with older MILF women, right? So it was a learning point for them, but it was also a learning point for the MILF women, because they're getting up to date with the stuff that the college people are doing these days, and then the college kids are getting up to date with what women are like, after the fact, right, after college. So it was kind of interesting. Heritage Falls, 2016. David Keith, Kobe, Ryan McLaughlin, Kean Johnson, Nancy Stafford, and Devon Ogden. Initially the coach, I think David Keith is a coach, and he's the father of Kobe Ryan, and then Kobe Ryan is the father of Kean Johnson, I believe it is. So anyhow, there is 3 generations of males, and David Keith is the coach, and he quits at the beginning. He's quitting teaching basketball, being a coach, and because he has cancer, and which I had figured out, and then and so anyhow, he takes for Kobe's birthday, his son's birthday, he takes him out to Heritage Falls, where he's taken all the teams to help them learn socialization skills and leadership skills and just skills for getting along. So anyhow, so he decides to take his son and the grandson to Heritage Falls, and they go through all this mirage stuff happens, and they do eventually they start to get along, and then they end up returning there after a few years, and then, of course, the grandfather dies from the cancer, and then they end up going back there. The son and the kid, his son, end up going there. So, a very if you have a kid that you're having problems with, maybe that's probably a good movie to watch to help them with some sensitivity or just some socialization skills. Sensitivity training, that's another one. Annalisa Phillips, Jill Alexander, Quinn Marcus, Finnegan Haid came out in 2016. Heritage Falls came out in 2016 as well. Anyhow, this woman who's a top researcher is researching some kind of Instagram. Thanks for stopping by. Looks like our time's up, so we will talk to you next time. Aloha. And if you want to, you can go to Facebook, Andrew Aloha fan page, and catch me there on Facebook. Aloha. So anyhow, we're going to go on with Facebook Live and continue on with, it figures. Why are you doing this? Facebook Live is fucking with my shit. That's why. Your live video has ended. Well, kiss my ass and go fuck yourself. That's what I say. Facebook Live. But what you don't know is that I still have my other video going. So anyhow, we're gonna continue this we're gonna continue this. Anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up with this other medium. We're talking about sensitivity training. This woman researcher tells this woman off, who's like who ends up winning some kind of a thing. I don't know what, but she ends up telling this woman off, a fellow coworker, and she ends up killing herself. And so everybody thinks that she ends up killing herself because this woman told her off, right, and told her to go kill herself. Well, the company goes, either you have to do this thing with sensitivity training, or you're gonna get fired. So anyhow, this woman ends up doing this sensitivity thing with her, and it's actually kind of funny. There's some really funny stuff in it, and then she ends up thinking that she's gay, right? So here, nope, that's not the one. Anyhow, she ends up finally, it's like anger management. I don't know if you've ever watched Anger Management, but with anger management, it's a similar thing with what's that guy's name? Anyhow, so she ends up going through all this stuff, and the very end, they find out that the woman who killed herself was stealing, embezzling money and stuff, and so she got caught or something, and so that's the reason she ended up killing herself. So oh, here, I know, I got an idea. Let's see if I can do it this way. Let me see if I can fix this so that I thought there was a thing where, let's see. No, that's not what I want. I'm going to see if I can fix this. Timeout. Oh, I know. Hit that. No. You idiot. Hang on. I'm trying to figure this out. Come on. I know there's a way I can do this. Oh, here it is, I think. I think this is it. There we go. Now we got some action. So anyhow, I'm gonna fix this. You know, Facebook thinks they're fucking smart. They think they're sly and they think they're slick, but they have no idea how stupid they are. Anyhow, so I'm gonna go back into Where was I? Sensitivity training. This woman, she finally gets, they finally find out that the woman that killed herself is embezzling stuff, and that's why she kills herself, and so she gets to keep her job and move on. Last call. Last call for alcohol. Oh my God. Okay, I have to look this one up. I can't remember. Time out. Oh yeah, now I remember. This guy, and by the way, I'm wearing my shirt. I put out a survey to see if people like. I had 3 new shirts that I bought, Aloha shirts, Hawaiian shirts, and the people that voted on the shirt that they liked the most voted on this one. So I'm wearing the shirt that all these IG people like the most. There you go. So anyhow, last call of this, there's these 2 guys. The son, one guy, he's the son of the man. Well, let me tell you who the people that are in this. It came out 2012. Travis Van Winkle, Ryan Hansen, Christopher Lloyd, Tom Arnold, Tara Reid, Adora Baird, and Clint Howard. Now, Christopher Lloyd is the father of a bar that he owns in town, and I believe Ryan Hansen, maybe Travis, one of those guys is the son, and then the other guy is the cousin. So the cousin's always hanging out because he doesn't have anywhere else to go, and he has a place to stay, right? So anyhow, the father, Christopher Lloyd, he gets busted for something and he goes to jail, right? So now the kid, Ryan Hansen and Travis Van Winkle have to take over the bar. So and the only problem is that the bar is getting ready to be foreclosed on because it owes all this money. So they have to figure out a way to raise all this revenue so they can keep the bar. So anyhow, they do all this stuff, and including having a big old party for high school kids, which again, that's promoting wrong action, wrong conduct, wrong relationship. So not cool at all. So anyhow, they end up doing all this stuff, and at the very end, and there's a whole barrel of laughs that comes along with this, of course. And so anyhow, finally they end up having to close up the bar anyhow, and then they end up going to Ireland or something like that, and running a bar there. So that was kind of funny. So anyhow, let me see, Paris at Midnight. Now this had to do with time travel and some kind of parallel universe type of thing. What's his name? It came out in 2011 with Owen Wilson, Rachel McAdams, Marion Cotillard, Kathy Bates, Kurt Fuller, Mimi Kennedy, and Adrian Brody. So Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams are engaged, and they're in Paris because her parents are there doing some kind of thing. So anyhow, somehow Owen Wilson jumps in this taxi, and he ends up going back in time with all these famous authors and all this stuff, all these famous people, and ends up talking to them. And Owen Wilson is a writer, so he's working on writing his book, right? So anyhow, they end up going and going through all this mirage of stuff. He ends up talking to all these people, from textbook, and Rachel McAdams keeps hanging around with some other friends that they run into there, and so anyhow, they end up. I don't know. This could have almost been a 1 because there was some really stuff that just didn't make any sense, and it just wasn't well written, well directed, and of course Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams and even Marion Coulthard. Coulthard. Anyhow, they're all good actors. Kathy Bates, they're all good actors, but you can't really do exceptional acting with stuff that's written like shit and directed like shit. So it's like that. So anyhow, let me think about this. The Trotsky. Oh, this kid. He believes he's a reincarnation of this guy by the name of Trotsky, who's like some kind of assistant or something to Hitler or something like that. So he's some kind of a leader, and so he goes on to hold on. And this movie came out in 2009 with Jay Burchell, Emily Hampshire, Michael Murphy, Saul Rubinek, Anne Marie Coddix, and Colin Fuhrer. But anyhow, Jay Burchell thinks he's the in reincarnation of this Leon Trotsky guy, and so anyhow he goes and does all these things to stop what was it, a sit down strike, and I can't remember all the stuff he was doing. I think he end up thrown in jail, and he does some kind of a strike at his father's company, and all this stuff, and the girl in the reincarnation of Leon Trotsky. Leon Trotsky had married this woman, and that same woman was there in the movie, and so he goes, yeah, I'm gonna marry you, and he keeps coming on to her, right? It's fine. She finally gives in, and all this stuff. So it was a pretty interesting movie. Some of it was kind of made your hair stand up on end, because you just want to take that kid and just go, what's wrong with you, kid? Get up, wake up, and get with the program, So it's really funny. Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. One came out in 2004 with Topher Grace, Kate Bosworth, Josh Duhamel, Gary Cole, Jennifer Goodwin, Catherine Hahn, Nathan Lane, Sean Hayes, Octavia Spencer, and Amy Smart. A funny movie. These guys, Topher Grace, Kate Bosworth, and who was it? Jennifer Goodwin, I think, all work in this hardware store or something like that, or grocery store. And of course Josh Domo is this stud that he's an actor, and he gets all these women, and he gets into all this trouble. So they go, him and his manager decide to do some kind of a date night. You can win a date with Josh Damel if you apply. And so of course Kate Bosworth ends up winning, and so she goes out with him, and he and Josh ends up telling her all these lines that are full of shit, so he can get into her panties, and so in the end, and again, there's stuff, if this was a true story, it would never be this incomplete. There's some missing parts and just stuff that wasn't a smooth transition with the movie. But anyhow, Josh ends up telling her one last night, and she's like, I don't think so. And so anyhow, she ends up with Topher Grace, which in a real life situation probably would never happen, because they're two completely different personalities, and they would never get along probably. So I mean those types of personalities would not definitely end up in the same boat with each other. So anyhow, it could have almost been a one movie, one thumb up, but there was some funny stuff in there, and so some of the acting I think helped out. Uptown Girls it came out in 2003 with Brittany Murphy, Dakota Fanning, Marty Shelton, Donald Faison, Heather Locklear, and Jess Spencer. Now, Dakota Fanning is the daughter of Heather Locklear, who's some kind of recording artist, right? She goes and hangs out with all these rock stars and all these music people, music industry, and she never has time for her daughter, Dakota Fanning. So she hires Brittany to be her nanny, and they're not getting along, right? And so Brittany Murphy is like this spoiled brat, and I think her dad dies, and her dad is like some kind of famous rocker or something like that. So anyhow, they go through all this stuff, and they finally end up agreeing to not disagree, agreeing to disagree, and or something like that, and they finally get along and go from there. But now it's interesting because Brittany Murphy, which I didn't realize, had died a few years ago, and I don't know, she was in a lot of movies, and she was probably already a millionaire by the time she died. I don't know, but somehow she died, and I thought that was very interesting to see her in a movie again. So 2001, not another teenage movie. Kyler Lay, Chris Evans, Jamie Presley, Mia Kirshner, Molly Ringwald, Ed Lauder, Paul Gleason, Mr. T, Randy Quaid, Melissa Joan Hart. This was actually, there was some really funny stuff in this movie. It was basically a bunch of slapstick movies put together. Like I don't remember all the movies, but anyhow, there were several movies that were kind of just pieced together and put into this movie. But there was like a lot of funny stuff in there, and it was interesting to see Molly Ringwald. Wow, she I don't know how old she is now, but in another movie, what movie? There's another movie that I talked about she was in as well. Which one was it? Oh, I think it was Kissing Booth, which came out this year, versus this movie, which came out in 2001, and wow, she looks a lot different. So anyhow, there's a lot of funny stuff in it. This is a good movie for maybe kids, teenagers to watch. If you just want to get a barrel of laughs, maybe that's a good movie to watch. So anyhow, 1990, Total Recall. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rachel Ticotin, Sharon Stone, Ronnie Cox, Michael Ironside, Barshel Bell, Mel Johnson Jr. It was interesting to watch this again because I hadn't seen this in years, and it was interesting to see a lot of technology, a lot of perceptions that they came out with that are even being applied today or maybe in the future. So it was really interesting to see people living on Mars and how they were living, and some of the stuff that was happening. There's if this movie was to be redone into the present age, I think it would be a really good movie to redo, and especially with special effects. And then the writing, and also the directing would probably be improved considerably compared to what it was then. But it was really interesting. Anyhow, Grease 2 came out in 1982 with Michelle Pfeiffer, Maxwell Caulfield, Adrian Zmed, Christopher McDonald, Peter Fretchett, Leif Green, Didi Khan, Lauren Luffett, Maureen Tiffy, Allison Price, Pamela Alden, Eve Arden, Donnie Goodman. This was actually probably a 1 thumb up movie, and the only reason I gave it a 1 thumb up movie, 1.5 thumb up movie, was because it had a Aloha, it had a luau at the very end. That's the only reason I gave it a 1.5. That 0.5 made up for it. So anyhow, otherwise, the Grease 1 was definitely a whole lot better. This gangster chick, Michelle Pfeiffer is with the Pinks or whatever, the Pinkies, whatever they're called, and she can only go out with the Thunderbirds, one of the Thunderbirds as her boyfriend. Otherwise, that breaks, that's breaking the rules. But this other guy, this new guy, I don't remember, Christopher McDonald. Anyhow, he's from England. He comes in and he really likes Michelle Pfeiffer, so he builds his own bike and and he goes and takes off and does all this magnificent, amazing stuff with some of the gangs in town and the police, and he's like this mystery guy, and then finally Michelle Pfeiffer figures out who he was, and they live happily ever after. Okay, fine, whatever. So anyhow, even the music wasn't as good as Grease 1 for sure. There was a couple of numbers that were okay in there, but for the most part, it just wasn't hot stuff that I would recommend to watch for your movie night, unless you really like music or whatever. So anyhow, one thumb up movies: Punching Henry, this guy Henry Phillips, Ellen Ratner, J.K. Simmons, Sarah Silverman, Tig Notaro, Stephanie Allen. 2016, this guy who's a musician and a comedian, he goes out, I believe, to California. He's out from New York or something like that, and goes and tries to make. I couldn't believe J.K. Simmons was in it, but anyhow, it was just some lame stuff. If you feel in the mood to watch some kind of, and I don't even know that it was slapstick. There were some punchlines in there that were interesting, but they were just like rap, blah 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 blah, talking heads. People were just talking, blah 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 blah, not putting in emotion or not putting any kind of talent or skill or any kind of funny stuff. It was just blah blah blah, rappers type of stuff. So again, if you get into that stuff, fine, go for it. And then 2012, Lifeguard with Kristen Bell, Mamie Gummer, David Lambert, Amy McDigan, and Martin Starr. Some college chicks falls in love with this high school kid, I think. I don't know, and it was like a cougar going after some kid or something like that. It was so lame. I just couldn't even finish watching. It was so stupid. So anyhow, 2000, Hollow Man, Kevin Bacon, Elizabeth Shue, Josh Brolin, Greg Grunberg, Mary Randall, Kim Dickens, and Joey Slotnick. This guy learns how to become invisible. Kevin Bacon is like the leader of this research team, and they have a couple of animals that are invisible, and they're trying to figure out how to bring them back. And so finally they figure that out, and then Kevin Bacon decides he wants to become invisible. So he becomes invisible. He rapes some woman across the building in the next building, and all kinds of. It was just, it was just bullshit. A lot of it. There's the technology and the plot in terms of learning how to become invisible and bringing people back. That was interesting, but the stuff that they did with that, they could have done a whole lot better than what they did. Anyhow, for those of you that are still working on getting, working with funding and keeping your homes or whatever, just take a deep breath and just surrender to the universe. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. This is your destiny anyhow. Just go with it and see what happens. And yeah, maybe you'll have to sleep in your car. Maybe you'll have to sleep in a homeless shelter. Maybe you'll have to sleep in the woods. Whatever. But just go with it, because otherwise you may never learn what you need to learn from this. And it's just a learning process. That's all it is. And somewhere down the road, everything will come together, and you're going to be fine no matter what. Right? It's going to be like that. So I encourage you just to say some prayers, to do some meditation, just to do some exercise, just to get yourself focused and centered, so you can deal with whatever's going on and take your next step. And that's what you want to do, is take your next step. Have a God-Goddess week. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.